is now 20,000. Council complaints.
I'm not looking forward to having 3 bins poked out the front of my house.
Issues making Perth families furious.
The noise, the dogs, the parks.
How your suburb stacks up. Plus, eat less without trying.
That's eating for the right reasons.
Simple tricks proven to help weight loss on Today Tonight.
Tonight, the sad journey home for Andrew Chan and Myron Sukumaran, executed while singing songs of praise.
Bali braces for a tourist dip. We ask, would you change your mind about going?
Prince Harry lands in Perth as royal baby fever builds in Britain.
Plus, Hayden Ballantyne back for the Dockers, but there are doubts over another key forward.
From the studios of 7 Perth, Rick Arden and Susanna Carr.
Good evening. The sad journey is underway to bring the bodies of 2 Australian men home after they were executed in Indonesia. Myron Sukumaran and Andrew Chan refused to wear blindfolds when they faced the firing squad. The Bali 9 ringleaders sang Amazing Grace as police pulled the trigger.
Prison as Andrew faced his final days on Earth. In Chillichap, Max Futcher, 7 News.
The bodies of the executed men have arrived in Jakarta. Rob Scott is there. Rob, what's the plan to get them home?
Rick, the bodies of Andrew Chan and Myron Sukumaran arrived here in Jakarta about 3 hours ago. As you mentioned, their families were with them and they all had a police escort all the way from Chillichap, an arduous 8-hour drive. The bodies of the men are at a local morgue and it's now all about preparing the paperwork to get them home. If that process runs smoothly, we expect the family members and the bodies of the men to board a commercial flight that'll take them back to Sydney on Friday. Today, the Australian Federal Police denied they had blood on their hands as a result of these executions because, of course, it was the AFP who tipped off the Indonesian police about the Bali 9 and their attempt to smuggle those drugs to Australia rather than arresting them when they arrived back in Australia. Sue?
Thanks, Rob. Prime Minister Abbott today branded the killings cruel and unnecessary. 7 nations appealed for clemency. Australia has recalled our ambassador and suspended ministerial contacts with Jakarta.
Here in Perth, travel agents say tourism in Indonesia is likely to suffer in the short term. Thousands of Australians have vented their anger online, vowing to boycott Bali. Amelia Brun reports.
The outcome of what happened?
Here at Perth Airport, though, it was a different story. While most people flying home from Bali today were opposed to the death penalty, everybody I spoke to said they'd go back.
And the Balinese people themselves are lovely, so definitely go back.
Hasn't changed my perception. I'll still go back because I love Bali.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd go back to Bali any day.
Amelia Brun, 7 News.
And have your say. Our 7 News Facebook page is asking, do the executions change your mind about travelling to Bali?
A district court jury today was shown photos of wires and cabling inside the late Corinne Rainey's bedroom as her husband faces trial accused of illegally tapping her phone in the days before her disappearance. Lloyd Rainey, who was acquitted of his wife's murder, denies the charges. Today, the court also heard testimony from a police officer who said 2 fingerprints on a manhole cover from the home matched those of the man Lloyd Rainey allegedly paid to install phone bugging equipment.
Prince Harry has touched down in Perth, continuing his extended stay in Australia. After he arrived in the early hours of this morning, he headed to SAS headquarters. Kate Smithers is there. And Kate, a fair bit of secrecy. Do we know any of the Prince's plans?
Well, Sue, Prince Harry is here for 5 days, part of his tour of duty. He's staying here at Campbell Barracks, which is one of the most secure complexes in the country, where he isn't known as Prince Harry, rather Captain Harry Wales. He's here for some SAS training, but other than that, his visit does remain a mystery. It's his 2nd visit to Perth. He flew in on a commercial flight late last night, about midnight. He was here last month, and then last week he was in Gallipoli and then London, so he's been very busy. After this, he heads to Sydney and then New Zealand. As to whether or not the women of Perth will get to catch a glimpse of Prince Harry in the flesh, unfortunately, I don't have any tips on if he will be out socialising, but we understand Kensington Palace will be releasing some official photographs of Prince Harry doing some training, so hopefully that's good enough. Rick.
Thanks, Kate. Prince Harry's Australian visit means he'll miss the royal birth. The Duchess of Cambridge is showing no signs of slowing down, despite reportedly being overdue with her second child. Europe correspondent Hugh Whitfield is standing by at St Mary's Hospital. Hugh, any sign of the Duchess?
Not yet, Rick, but that hasn't...
7 News.
Fortescue Metals Group has begun sacking hundreds of workers from its Pilbara operations. Many of those arrived on site this morning, only to be told to pack their belongings and go home. Rebecca Marsh, it's the result of a roster restructure.
Yeah, that's right, Rick. 2 weeks ago, FMG told its staff they were going to be switching to a new roster from 8 days on, 6 days off to 2 weeks on, 1 week off, requiring fewer staff and effectively cost-cutting. Around 200 mining equipment operators from Cloudbreak and Christmas Creek were let go today.
Heart-wrenching. Put 8 years into the company, incident-free, and you get to work and they just, throw you back on a plane.
FMG says it's offering support to all workers affected and all opportunities for internal transfers are being explored. Rick, Sue.
Thanks, Beck. Next, a young WA thrill seeker's amazing bike stunt, and only on 7, John Worsfold reveals his formula for winning a premiership.
Plus a mother's concern. Why this woman has been praised around the world.
And how Australian doctors have come up with a vaccine for a common but painful skin rash.
Then council complaints how your suburb stacks up. Netball fever, Perth's record-breaking winning streak. Plus, eat less without trying. Simple tricks to shed kilos.
In 7's Money Watch, the rising Australian dollar has caused the share market to fall almost 2% today. Experts are predicting there won't be an interest rate cut on Tuesday, which has hit the banks today. Commonwealth Bank dropped more than $2 and ANZ fell 66 cents. Westpac also dipped, finishing on $37. Iron ore prices are continuing to recover, but BHP Billiton and Rio Tinto still lost ground. One Australian dollar is buying just under 80 US cents, 52 British pence at 95 Japanese yen.
A Kwinana family's business of almost a decade has been gutted by deliberate fire. The fish and chip...
The lives of 3 young students have flashed before their parents' eyes in the US. An onboard surveillance camera captured the moment a speeding car almost ran them down as they got on their school bus in front of horrified mothers. The driver swerved into a ditch to pass the bus, narrowly missing the 3 children. One said she felt the car graze her shoe. The actress who played the youngest daughter in the hit 1970s show The Partridge Family has died. Suzanne Cruff portrayed the tambourine-playing Tracy, one of 5 children who performed in a band with their mother. She died at her Nevada home, aged 52.
Basil's here, and you've got the premiership formula tonight, Baz.
Indeed, Sue. According to John Worsfold, we'll tell you how the Eagles and Dockers fare, plus one of Freo's main men in pain. This doesn't look quite right. What's bothering Chris Mayne? And the boy from Donnybrook makes history on his bike.
Fresh has all your food questions answered. For what's in season, quick recipes and best products, don't miss Fresh every Thursday in the West Australian.
Connor's locked in the first safety net.
He's good.
But can he go even